the story of how safety on two-wheeled vehicles can add to the fun and pleasure of the open road. It is essentially the story of how a motorcycle or scooter can be properly handled to keep the rider safe and the general public a friend of the cyclists. In addition to their use as pleasure vehicles, motorcycles also play a vital part in our metropolitan traffic picture. Expressways, such as are found in many of America's largest cities, must be patrolled round the clock to ensure orderly traffic and smooth flow of millions of automobiles. In such an assignment, the motorcycle-mounted officer plays an important law enforcement role. These are proud members of the conduct, a machine that has great power and affords great maneuverability. They are proud to be motorcycle-mounted minions of the law. The AMA's motto, "Put your best wheel forward," is not just an idle slogan. A combination of courteous and responsible riding and adult behavior will add to the fine image the majority of cyclists create. The AMA also places a great deal of stress on safety activities, as indicated by this banner, awarded to clubs which have outstanding annual safety records. A safety check of your motorcycle is essential. The front wheel handbrake could be located on either the right or left handlebar for easy access and complete control. And of course, the rear wheel brake is controlled by your foot pedal. Checking for proper tire pressure is as essential on a two-wheeler as it is on an automobile. Footrests are for riding comfort and convenience. And your starter gets you underway. A foot shift makes it easy to change gears. Also important is checking chain conditions, including tension. A vital safety feature is the tail and stoplight, which must always be in good operating order to protect you and the riders behind you. It's wise to check the tire treads for wear and to get rid of pebbles and other objects you might have picked up. And more than vanity, demands that you have a rear view mirror which gives you a glimpse of what's behind you at all times to assure safety on the highway. Now that you know your motorcycle's operating features, you'll get dressed for the ride. All cyclists know the leather jacket is a practical garment providing warmth and protection as well as comfort. And remember, a safety helmet is to a cyclist what a safety belt is to a motorist. As the Best Wheel Forward poster says, dress neatly, ride carefully. Dressing neatly will make a distinctly good impression on your neighbors, your riding companions, and the public. Now that you're ready, let's take a typical situation on the road. On your approach to a stop sign, remember that since the front brake is more effective, apply the rear brake first. Then ease down on the front one. When you come to a stop sign, signal clearly and take an extra second to stop, look, and listen before you proceed. Remember, a motorcycle has many advantages over other vehicles. For one thing, visibility is virtually unlimited. If a blind spot exists, it's usually the driver's, not the vehicle's. Then, too, motorcycles are easy to handle in the proper hands, and controls are simple, sure, will certainly wait a few extra minutes. Let's take another traffic situation. You're traveling along behind an automobile, that fellow enclosed in his car who can't fully enjoy the great outdoors. How do you go about passing the car safely and in such a way as not to antagonize the driver? There's a phrase, If you don't see it, don't try it. This includes passing on hills and curves. No one should ever chance a blind passing situation. Keeping a safe distance is another basic rule, whether in a car or on a cycle. These charts will give you an idea of the care that must be taken in keeping your distance. For instance, at 20 miles per hour, it takes a total of 40 feet to stop, half of that distance being reaction or thinking time. At 30 miles an hour, a total stopping distance of 75 feet is required. 30 of those feet, your thinking time. If you are traveling at 40 miles an hour, you would need 120 feet to stop safely, 40 feet of which is your thinking time. And at a speed of 50 miles an hour, it takes 175 feet to stop safely, which includes 50 feet of thinking time. Remember these rules, and you'll have a safe and law-abiding time on the road. By the same token, making a left-hand turn means entering to the left lane well in advance of the turn with a clear signal which gives the vehicle behind you a chance to slow down and allow you to make the turn. Or let's take an example of a motorcyclist who is sweeping a curve. Here's one way that a professional cyclist takes a curve, but it is not recommended for highway riding because he's doing it on a racetrack. Now let's move to a highway rider taking a curve. The difference is obvious. The professional racer is equipped to ride faster in a race than when he's on the highway, and you'll find that the racing motorcyclist is one of the highway's most sensible riders. He knows, for example, that you must automatically reduce speed on wet roads or loose gravel and cross streetcar and railroad tracks at as wide an angle as possible. Yes, motorcycling is a sport unto itself, a thrill that must be personally experienced to be fully appreciated. When handled properly, the motorcycle is a vehicle that will bring untold pleasure to young and old alike. The fellowship that is evidenced in groups of cyclists out for a pleasure jaunt is unparalleled in any other sport. The wholesome fun that cyclists share in their hobby of two-wheeled participation is a thrill that cannot be matched by any other mode of transportation. Each of this country's two-wheeled riders, and there are more than 500,000 in the United States, has a responsibility not only to himself, but to other cyclists and motorists, as well as the very important segment of the public which accepts the sport on the basis of what it has seen of two-wheeled activity. The image of the motorcyclist is one that each individual creates, dressing neatly, conforming to all traffic laws at all times, conducting oneself as a responsible citizen, aware of other people's rights. These are the goals that all cyclists should set for themselves. And these are the goals that the AMA has set for its riders in almost 50 years of promotion of motorcycling as the greatest sport on wheels. We'd like to repeat the words of J. Edgar Hoover. The care you exercise in handling your motorcycle will add to the safety of our streets and highways. Yes, two-wheeled pleasure is something all can enjoy. From the youngster trying out his wheels on a bicycle, to the teenager enjoying his first scooter, from the lad on a lightweight motorcycle, to the experienced rider who uses his machine to explore the beauties of this great land of ours. From the professional racer seeking fame and glory on the track, to the guardians of the law whose motorcycle is a symbol of authority.